Hello, my name is Brian Hancock. I'm the co-founder of the Portugal Ocean Race. The world of offshore ocean racing is exploding. I've been lucky enough over the last 30 years to witness the changes in the sport. I did my first round the world race in 1981 in the Whitbread round the world race, and back in those days things were much more basic. The budgets were small, the boats were really not set up for round the world race, and it was a real big adventure. I've seen things change. 4 years later, I did my second round the world race on a boat called Drum, owned and sponsored by the rock group Duran Duran, and things had changed in ocean racing by then. The budgets were bigger, the boats were bigger, the course was longer, and the racing was more difficult. 4 years later, I did my third circumnavigation, that time on a Russian boat called Vizisi, and that was really when the world of offshore racing really exploded. The budgets got big, the sponsorships became much more self-evident, and it became really expensive to race around the world. Now the Whitbread has changed into the Portugal Ocean Race, and really the budgets have taken off. The early days you could get around the world for just under $1 million. Now it takes about 50 million euros to compete in an around the world race. It's just out of the reach of most ordinary sailors. In fact, it's impossible for an ordinary sailor that has an aspiration to sail in and around the world race to really get involved in any of these events. They're just too big, too expensive. The boats are too technically advanced to sail. For instance, the early single-handed around the world races, the BOC or the Around Alone, the budgets back in those days were less than $500,000. You get a 40-foot boat, show up on the start line, pack some food on board, and race it around the world. Now that race has become the Vendée Globe. It's the preeminent single-handed round the world yacht race. The event that finished earlier this year had 30 boats on the start line. That's absolutely amazing. But the budget for each of those boats was around anywhere between 1 million and 4 million euros. It's absolutely impossible for the average sailor that has a dream of sailing single-handed around the world, not only to raise that kind of money, but also to get the experience to sail one of those boats around the world. As I've watched the changes over the last 30 years, and I've been privileged to watch these changes, I've thought to myself that people like myself that got into it 30 years ago could never get into an around the world race. It's just too technologically advanced. Unless you devote your whole life to sailing and to learning the trade and learning the boats and raising the money, it's impossible to do these races. But I know that there's a pent-up demand for people globally that really are interested in racing around the world. It used to be such a mysterious thing to do. Now it's become quite an achievable dream. And I know that there are people around the globe that are interested in doing this. So we created the Portugal Ocean Race, an affordable way to race around the world. For instance, the Class 40s, really dynamic class of 40-foot boats made out of fiberglass, not carbon fiber, keeps the cost of the boats down. The cost of a used Class 40 is about 300,000 euros. The cost of a new one is about 500,000 euros. Stack that up against a Volvo boat or a Vendée Globe boat, and you've got yourself an affordable, stable, wonderful, exciting platform to race around the world. So the boats are affordable. The budgets are affordable as well. You don't need a massive short team. You don't need carbon fiber experts. You don't need these incredible computer experts to get your boat going. The boats are absolutely simple to sail. They're fun to sail. They're exciting to sail. They're fast to sail. And you can get a team of 2 people, 3 people, 4 people and have an adventure of a lifetime. So the Portugal Ocean Race is all about affordability. Get your Class 40, get some of your mates together, split the budget between 2 or 3 or 4 people, come to the start line and race it around the world. You can in fact do a circumnavigation race for less than €500,000 euros. That is absolutely affordable by today's standards. We have 3 divisions in the Portugal Ocean Race. We have a single-handed division. That's for the pure sailors, those that want to go all by themselves around the world alone. It's the purest form of ocean racing. But to make it more interesting, we introduced a double-handed division. Now you can get 2 people on the boat. You can actually have a team of up to 4 people, but only 2 on the boat at the time. So you can essentially put together a campaign of 4 people, say 4 businessmen or businesswomen, 4 friends that have sailed together, that just decide, why don't we just do something new and interesting? Why don't we race around the world? Why don't we pool our resources, get some sponsorship together, get the boat to the start line in Portugal and race it around the world? You and I will sail the first leg. We'll all meet in Cape Town. The 4 of us will have a wonderful time in Cape Town. We'll prepare the boat, change out the crew, and the next 2 sail it from Cape Town to New Zealand. We'll all get together in New Zealand. We'll bring our wives, we'll bring our kids, we'll bring our family. We'll have this amazing experience in New Zealand on the other side of the world as part of a global around the world yacht race. Change out the crew in New Zealand. You and I will do the next leg. We go around Cape Horn up to Ilhabela in Brazil. Again, the families get together. We all get together in the same place, sharing this collective experience with our children, with our wives, and having this amazing experience. And then back to the finish in Portugal to circumnavigate the world. Now, if you have a team of 4 people, granted, you only get to do half the race. but you get to split the budget 4 ways, and that becomes very much achievable. For instance, if you buy a boat and campaign it around the world and then sell the boat at the end, you can race around the world for less than 100,000 euros per person. That is what most people spend on a sailor inventory in 1 year. We also have introduced a fully crewed division. 4 people on board the boats with a team of up to 6 people. Again, the idea is to make the race more tangible and more affordable to as many people as possible. There are many people that don't like going solo. There are many people that don't even like the concept of going double-handed. But fully crewed is something that appeals to them. They can really push the boat hard, 2 people on deck all the time, 2 people down below on standby, really pushing the boat as hard as possible. So you get 6 people in a syndicate if you want. You can have 4 or 6, it makes no difference. 4 people on the boat, maximum is 6 in the team. Split the budget 6 ways. Again, it becomes much, much more affordable. You get yourself and your friends and some really good sailors and maybe some amateur people, maybe even a member of the media. Bring them on board for a leg and race the boat from Portugal to Cape Town. You all get together in Cape Town, bring the family out, enjoy a wonderful family experience. The Portugal Ocean Race is all about family, bringing your wife, your children, and to enjoy the experience in some of the most amazing locations. Locations like Portugal, unbelievable country, perfect for families. Cape Town, South Africa, my place, my hometown, one of the most beautiful places in the world. I can assure you, the most amazing landfall you'll ever experience is sailing into South Africa, to see that Table Mountain from 50 miles out, to see the mountain get bigger and bigger as you get closer and closer, and to suddenly arrive at the Tavern of the Seas, this most amazing landfall that sailors for the last 3 centuries have come upon Table Mountain and the Tavern of the Seas. New Zealand. New Zealand is crazy about sailing. Everyone in New Zealand sails. To arrive in New Zealand, to sail down the west coast of New Zealand, down the east coast of New Zealand, look at the beautiful Bay of Islands, to get this thunderous welcome when you arrive in New Zealand, because everybody in New Zealand is sailing crazy, and to get there and find your family on the dock, your children, what an inspiration for your children, what an inspiration for yourself to sail around the world. All of you are there with your team, you fix the boat up, you get it ready for the second half of the circumnavigation, you plan, you get ready for the tough part going around Cape Horn, and then you take off. You go into the Southern Ocean, into the deep Southern Ocean, where it's absolutely magical. The light is something you can't describe. The albatross, the wildlife, the bird life, it's just incredible. The isolation, you have an adventure of a lifetime, and then you come upon Cape Horn. Cape Horn is the sailor's Everest. It's the most amazing landfall any sailor could ever come upon. I've been around 3 times. I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like under flat, calm conditions. I know what it looks like when there's a full-on gale blowing. My first circumnavigation around Cape Horn, we had a capsize at Cape Horn and 60 knots of wind. It is the sailor's Everest. It's the most amazing landfall. And if you come upon it, after 3 weeks of sailing, you just see this little rock crouching low in the ocean. It suddenly gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you realize it's Cape Horn. It's where every sailor dreams of being. Once you've rounded Cape Horn, you can put an earring in your ear. You can hit up the east coast of Brazil, and you come to this wonderful tropical island of Ilhabela. Ilhabela is literally a tropical island that means beautiful island in Portuguese. It's one of the most amazing places I've ever been, and the idea of choosing Ilhabela is to have a place where sailors that have sailed across the Southern Ocean, rounded Cape Horn, can come to this tropical paradise and relax and recharge their batteries, again bring their wives, children, family, friends from around the world, get together in this tropical paradise, eat some of the wonderful food, recharge the batteries, and then race the final leg back to Portugal. 7 months after starting, you're back. You've done the race. You've achieved something incredible, something most people in the world just dream about doing that can't do because it's always been too much out of their reach. Now you have an opportunity to do it. Come and do the Portugal Ocean Race. It's an affordable way of racing around the world. It's an amazing experience. It's a family experience. You get to experience these cultures, Portugal, South Africa, New Zealand, Brazil. What better places in the world to bring your family to experience the most amazing lifestyle and culture, and you get to go sailing. That's the absolute best part about the Portugal Ocean Race, is you get to do something that you're passionate about. You get to spend months on the ocean. You in fact get to have an experience that's more about than just sailing around the world. You get to discover yourself. In all the sailing I've done 250,000 miles offshore. I've done some single-handed sailing. There's nothing like being at sea to get a better understanding of who you are as a person. And time alone at sea, or time with another partner at sea, or even time fully crewed at sea, to experience the grandeur of the sunsets and the sunrises and the whales and the dolphins and the birds. It does something to your soul, something that you just can't explain. I can guarantee you, you come do the Portugal Ocean Race, 7 months later you finish it. It will be an experience that will change your life. You'll never be the same again. You'll be a better person for it. We invite you to come do the Portugal Ocean Race. My partner Ricardo Diniz from Portugal will invite you personally to Portugal. I'll invite you to South Africa personally. We'll show you around. You'll become a part of this great adventure. You'll be a part of this great experience, and you'll be able to say that you've done the circumnavigation. You've finished it, 27,000 miles at sea. Welcome. Come and join us in the Portugal Ocean Race.